All right, we're trying this again, guys. Hopefully, we'll actually be able to get something useful here. So, I'm Jetty from Word Revolution. I want to talk to you guys today about, I want to pose a question. Who is your God? Okay. So, here's the deal. I'm not super religious, and I'm not trying to get into a religious debate or anything like that. I serve the Most High. I serve Yahuwah. Um, and so Yahweh, right? People know the Most High by different names, and depending on the time of intervention of the Most High into the lives of people, you have lots of religions who depict mankind's relationship with the Most High, right? And so it is based on those contexts that I'm posing this question. Okay? So the question that I ask, who is your God? Um, what I find is there is so much carnality and so much deception and so much cowardice amongst the ranks of those who call themselves the righteous, who call themselves the seed of Abraham, who call themselves, the tribe of Judah, who call themselves Israel, who call themselves, like, we have so much compromise with the world that the character and the nature of the Most High God is completely, all but completely lost within the context of those who claim to follow the holy religions, right? Now, I am a messianic, right? I accept the Messiah, Yeshua, or Yahushua, depending on how you say it. Some people call him Jesus. That is a name I try to avoid using because I do know that it is a very profane name for him. But I know also that the Spirit of the living God will not punish us for, if you seek him but you don't know what name to call him by, your heart and soul's desire to know him will not be, he will not begrudge you that because you call on a name that you were given to call him by, whether that name is actually his name, right? And I used in a different video the analogy of like a baby, right? Like a baby might not be able to say your name, right? So like I have a niece slash daughter who, when she was little, my birth name is Falak, right? And when she was little, she couldn't say Falak. She called me Tulak. So I was Aunt Tulak to her, right? So I didn't ignore her because she couldn't say my name or she didn't know it or whatever, right? Like I just, when she said Aunt Tulak, I answered because I knew who she was talking to. And so the Most High is gracious in that when we come, and we are, neither here nor there, when we come seeking relationship with the Most High, something like the name that we call the Most High by, I don't believe, is a huge sticking point until you come to the place where his true names are revealed to you and you refuse to change. You refuse to then, like when she turns, and even in that case, it's different because, like, to call me Aunt Tulak, if she would still be calling me that, and she's, God, what is she now, 16, I guess. If she were still calling me Aunt Tulak, I wouldn't be offended. It would actually be kind of a nickname that I might have taken on, right? But let's say that I actually really hated the name of Aunt Tulak. And I said to her, I would really appreciate if like, this is my name, and I'd like you to call me by my real name. And then her refusal to do so would be different, right? Now, I in my life have experienced that because I have experienced that because in my life I have been given a name change. The Most High changed my name from my birth name, and I've had people who simply refuse to call me by the name that the Most High has given me. They simply refuse to let go of my birth name, which was a lovely name, but they refused to call me by the new name. Now that's different, right? So when you refuse to call the Lord anything but God, or Messiah anything but Jesus and Jesus Christ, now you're walking in rebellion, right? It's like the people who refuse to call me anything except my birth name. And so, but neither here nor, not to say neither here nor there, but that's not really the point that I want to make. That's just kind of an example of how we choose carnal things over truly knowing and representing the Most High in authenticity. And I'm going to take a second, guys, and just post here on Facebook that people should check out my YouTube for a live, because I do want to hear from people. I like when we have conversation. So head over for all right. Now all that typing. Now this is when I tell y'all my electronics are jacked. Now I'm waiting for the computer to load all the typing I just did. So now, oh, look at that. And so it's really, my electronic situation, my communication system is really jacked here, but it's because I am being called little by little out, Discussion. Listen, please shut the door. I don't really want to do this with the puppy. Okay, so now I'm posting that. You all, if you don't mind bearing with me while I go ahead and make this post so that the people can, sorry about that. I wasn't really trying to I promise you, if you get in this camera, you're going to give them a show. So, all right, let's see. Oh, no. Sorry, guys, just give me a minute. Bear with me. I'm kind of bootleg sharing this. So, okay. So that's that's an example, right, of what I'm asking when I say, who is your God? Because if you serve the Most High and you've gotten to know him within the context of religion or church or whatever, but when new information or revelation is given, but you refuse to receive it because you're not used to it, or your pastor never told you that, or it's uncomfortable, or it would alienate you from friends, or it would cause you the inconvenience of having to change your diet. Like these things are the difference between the righteous and the wicked. We can't claim to serve the Most High and then run around here and represent everything about carnality and everything about wickedness. Like, an example is like people who are quote unquote Christians, right? Christians claim they follow the Bible, but the Bible clearly says not to put a tree up in your home and decorate it. Specifically says don't put a tree up in your house and decorate it, right? So these people claim they follow the Bible, but then every single year they have this imaginary holiday that they have married to the Most High, the God of the Bible, doing something that clearly the Bible says not to do. Now, whether or not the Bible is relevant, accurate, divine, any of that, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about if you say this is your book, you say this is the book I follow, the God of this book is who I serve, then I have the expectation that when I come to your house, I'm not going to see a tree there decorated. Because according to the doctrine that you claim to follow, that's forbidden, right? But we are so far removed from truth that saying something like that is offensive. And then you have things that something is burning. Girls, who's cooking? So there are so many instances where, everybody thinks that depart from me, I don't know you thing is for other people, right? That's like for other people. But ask yourself, like seriously ask yourself, what have you ever given up in order to follow the Most High? What have you ever given up? If you're following the Most High has kept you in the same traditions that you were in when you were in the world, if you're following the Most High, keeps you in alignment with systems of the world, if you're following the Most High, has not called you out from friends, family, any of that, if you follow the Most High, but none of these things about your life have changed, I don't know who your God is. I don't know who your God is, right? And neither do you. And so I keep getting all this flack, right? So just to put context here, because I'm actually going somewhere with this, right? In order to put this in context, I keep getting all this flack. My father passed, rest in power to the brother. My father passed not too long ago, right? And he actually passed on the 30th, so we're not even a week. And the family, people are really upset with me because I am standing in the truth of what the Most High revealed to me about the wickedness of the family structure, and a lot of that, right? And so now, mind you, the Most High revealed these things to me and called me out literally years ago. And there have been different degrees of what that calling out has looked like, right? Who to cut off at what point, types of different tests and interactions to indulge that would reveal people's heart, right? And not even their heart toward me, but what is their heart toward the transition of me truly embracing an authentic calling in the Most High. And so over the course of years, it's just been a process, right? And so now that my father has passed, there is this expectation of the community that now I am supposed to, I don't even know what it is that the expectation is that I would be honoring, because it doesn't honor my father for me to now take on a spirit whereby I would subject myself to wickedness to prove that I have unity with people that I have no unity with, right? But we're so used to these, like we are so used to putting ourselves in a position where the expectation of the people of the world and the expectation to fall into these traps that leave us abused for generations. We're so used to that it is offensive when someone says, you know what? No, I don't want to be around you people, right? I don't want to talk to you people. I don't want to be a part of your community, right? And so what you have right now is, it's so interesting because my father's last messages to me were how much he really honored and loved my ability and willingness to tell the truth despite whatever fallout, right? Like whatever, I'm finna tell the truth and then let the chips fall where they may. And so I find it very interesting that in my father's last moments, as he saluted and even encouraged that, even to the point of requesting that I even write a book. Please shut that door. I don't really want to hear the dogs doing all what they're doing. Shut the door, please. Thank you. Thank you. So in his last moments, that he honored that, right? And so even like I said, to the point of requesting that I write a book, write the story of how it all went down, if you will, because he trusted I would tell the truth. But you have a community of people, as I didn't even really, I did start the book. I started it a while ago. But just in exposing a few of the wicked goings on within the family context, you have these people who, in the name of the Lord, have come to me and have tried to convince me that for sake of peace, I should back down and I should understand where they're coming from and compromise and blah, blah, blah. Like all of this stuff that they attribute to godliness that has absolutely nothing to do with the God that I serve. Now, whether it has to do with the God they serve is why I'm asking the question, who is your God? Because if you tell me, here's a Bible, right? I'm not a super religious person, but, to me, religions, I don't know if I said this in this, to me, religions are like cookbooks, right? Some people need them, some people don't. The point isn't the cookbook. The point is to prepare something edifying, right? So if you need the cookbook to prepare something edifying, if you don't know how to take 10 ingredients and prepare something edifying, by all means, get your cookbook. But some people don't need a cookbook. Some people just know how to prepare something edifying. And so by all means, prepare something edifying. But even people that know how to prepare edifying stuff will resort to cookbooks sometimes to expand their repertoire or to look at different options for how to prepare things or whatever. There's lots of different reasons why someone might refer to a cookbook. And so that is how I approach religion, right? Now, the Most High God, Yahuwah, has been interacting with mankind since the formation of mankind. And so you have around the globe, you have lots of different testimonies of how that relationship, how it developed and evolved, right? And so I am particularly fond of not especially the Bible, because I know that this particular collection of stories, and especially the translation of it, is riddled with this is a propaganda tool, right? This in itself is not holy or infallible or anything. It is literally a 2,000-year-old propaganda tool, right? This is your Fox News of 2,000 years ago. But the fact is, even so, even in its defiled state, the truth of the Most High always shines through. I tell people all the time, if you seek wisdom, you seek the Most High, you could pick up a newspaper and read a Snoopy comic and get a direct word, a ruach, right? You can get a fresh Holy Spirit word from a Snoopy comic. Because if you seek the Most High, he will be found wherever you seek him, right? So the Bible is one of the many tools that I use, and one of my favorite tools for walking after the Most High. So I read it like a lot. So it puzzles me how these people who, it really puzzles me how people who claim to follow this book seem to not know anything about the Most High, the God of the book. Like, where in this book does the Most High tell us to compromise with evildoers? Where in this book does the Most High tell us to reconcile with evildoers? Where in this book does the Most High tell us that if they're family, then we should abandon what the Most High has told us is right, good, and acceptable, and enjoy time with them, or protect their reputation, or any of this stuff that people have this expectation of me, and then they're like looking down their noses at me like she's supposed to be some woman of God, but she won't even talk to her own family. Like, I don't know who y'all's God is. I don't know. I mean, I do. Your God is the one who put this together, the propagandist. You're serving the propagandist with that nonsense. And it's why you now have gay churches and trans pastors and pedophilia and homosexuality and every vile dysfunction and perversion inside these structures that were created under the propaganda machine that produced this particular collection and telling of the Most High's relationship with mankind. You serve the devil. You're serving the enemy when you do that. The Most High does not ask us to do that. The Most High commands us not to do that. And people say, well, you know, Yeshua said to love your neighbor as yourself. They asked Yeshua, they said, Yeshua, your mother and them is outside. He said, who's my mother? Who's my brothers? I don't know them. Like, not, he didn't go to, I don't know them, but he said, my mother and brothers are those who do the will of the Father. They're those who do the will of the Most High. So don't come at me with this Jesus, mamby-pamby, white Jesus, sunblock needing, sandal wearing, starry-eyed white Jesus religion and doctrine that renders you powerless and always delivers you into the hands of your enemies. When you find yourself delivered into the hand of your enemy, you're cursed. If you find yourself constantly at the mercy of your enemies, you're walking in a curse. That's not the Most High's, like, you're not the star child of the Most High. If you are a person who is surrounded by abusive people and you cannot get away from them, or you feel bad for leaving them, or for disengaging for them, or for entering into self-care, you feel like it makes you less godly, you are deceived and walking in a curse. That is not what the Most High ever told us to do. Not in the old dispensation or the new. It's just not. Even Yeshua said, listen, you walk in there, you drop your blessing. If they receive it, beautiful, kick it with them. If they don't receive it, keep it moving. If they don't receive it, keep it moving. And now you have people that are saying to me that 20, 30, 40 years of dealing with people who have never rightly received the blessing that I had extended, they've rejected it, spit on it, despised and hated me for extending the blessing. Even to this day, probably somewhere as we're having this conversation right now, there's somebody probably talking smack on me in this moment, right? But somehow we believe that godliness is me sitting down and coming to understanding with them. Understanding what's to not understand about 20, 30, 40 years of rejecting a blessing. What's not to understand about that? Where does the Most High God tell us that this is what we're supposed to be doing? Nowhere. Where does the Most High tell us that we're supposed to be cowards and afraid to fight? The Most High says that when you withhold your sword during battle, he calls you an evildoer. He speaks a curse over you. But we're running around when somebody is like swinging their sword and chopping down lies and like, going to war. Right? When they're like, listen, I don't care if it is my son. He can't come in here dressed like no woman. And I'm not going to call him Shirley. And I'm not going to refer to him as my daughter. And if he don't come dressed like a man, speaking like a man, and acting like a man, he can't get in the door. And at what point did the Most High tell us that if we want to prove that we love him, that we will let this son of ours come in dressed like a woman, bring their sodomizing partner on in with them, Call them married. We're going to go to their wedding because we want to show the love of Christ. So we're going to go to a gay wedding. The Most High, y'all playing. You better know who the gods are that you're serving. The Most High will open up the ground and swallow you whole for that type of stuff. Do we not know that the Most High tells us not even to sit down and have a meal with those who we know are evildoers? And the list is there. It's in there. Find it yourself. If you don't know, find yourself. I'm not going to, I'm going to do like Yeshua, okay? Like Yeshua. I'm going to tell you, it's written, okay? You don't believe me? Read the book, okay? It's written. We are not even to sit down and have a meal with evildoers, with liars, with deceivers, manipulators, cheats, fornicators. We're not even supposed to sit down to a meal to them. But these people are coming at me like I've thrown the Most High away because I am saying, no, don't invite me to your table. I'm not coming. I'm not coming to partake of the wickedness. And then that's like, oh, she's supposed to be some woman of God. But where's the love? I'm going to tell you where the love. I got love for my soul. And I got love for my Creator God, who forbids certain things. Don't you tell me that the Most High is okay with your Christmas tree when clearly in the Word, I mean, how specific can you be? It literally says, do not put a tree up in your house and decorate it. Like it's written. But you want to tell me that the Most High is okay with your Christmas tree because it's your tradition and it's fun and it's nice and stuff like that. Like, y'all better stop playing. Y'all better stop playing. Don't come for me with the nonsense. I know who I am. I know whose I am, and I know who I serve. But do you? If you get offended when someone rejects this book and Jesus Christ, if that offends you, you are lost. Because this is a tool of propaganda. Yes, the stories of the Most High God and our history and stuff is in here. But there's a whole lot they left out, y'all. And there's a whole lot of twisting and turning and distorting that they did to try to make sure that we did not find the authentic Creator within the context of this book. And y'all are falling for it when you get mad that somebody says Jesus Christ is a lie. When somebody says something like, fuck Jesus, you're mad because you think that they're cursing the Messiah. You don't even understand that Jesus was a name intentionally placed to defile and to deceive. But you'll hold on to that name because they switched it up and told you there's no other name by which men could be saved. And I'm not trying to say that. How can I say this? I am a person who, when I came unto salvation, I called on the name of Jesus. But what I know is the Most High was dealing with my soul's cry out and understanding that I didn't have no better sense but to call him Jesus. But once it becomes revealed to you, actually, Jetty, Jesus is not my name, and that's what the liars call me. And that's what the liars placed on me because they wanted to remove the power of your knowing who you are, because they wanted to change the legacy so that you believe that the Messiah was some Roman or something, right? The Messiah was some Caucasian and not an African. And so they give this name that everybody know what no parts of Africa. And the Most High is like, at some point you got to grow up. And when your traditions are so important to you that you can't grow up and put down the pork and not dress up for the Halloween and not put up the Christmas tree and replace your idea of marriage from something that would say you can honor two men or two women being married, but you despise polygamy. The Most High literally built a nation using polygamy, but somebody told you that it's cursed and ungodly. The Most High told you to come unto him plainly dressed. Told you don't even put your hair up in a braid. Don't wear no jewelry, don't nothing. Come to me plain, just as plain Jane as you can. But somebody done told you that you got to be dressed to the nines coming to church because you're going before the king. And so now, y'all so confused that when somebody comes to the church just as plain as they want to be, you want to talk crazy on them about how they're disrespecting your God. Well, who is your God? Who is your God? Because the Most High has said, don't come over here like that. I'm not impressed with your fancy. Don't come here like that. He didn't tell you not to have fancy. He didn't tell you got to be looking all dusty and everything. But he said, when you come before me, when you come into the congregation, skip all that. But you got church clothes that's so fancy that you can't wear them nowhere but to church. And when you see somebody come to the church that hasn't ascribed to the European standard of fashion, they don't have no Spanx on. It's some lady in a sundress, and she ain't wearing bra nor undies. She just in her little sundress, and she got a little raggedy little afro and stuff and her flip-flops. Y'all gonna sit there and mock and turn your nose up and get to praying like but you're in there with a push-up bra, titties sitting up here so high, can't nobody have a conversation with you without like experiencing your whole entire titties up here, right? Cleavage, titties, Spanx got your waist squeezed in, your ass puffed out, right? You got your makeup on, you got your jewelry on, your bling, your hair is sharp, church hat bad, heels sharp. And you look at her, and by the time you get done with her, she comes before the Lord. She wants salvation. She want to be reconciled unto the Most High. So she comes, and the first thing y'all get to doing is teaching her how to disobey the Most High. You'll donate clothes and everything. Take her out for a makeover and tell her how unseemly she is to come in there like that. You'll buy her bras and girdles and everything else. Well, who's impressed with the bras and the girdles and the Spanx? That's for the lustful eyes of men. The Most High don't see none of that. He don't even really see the flesh you're in. He don't see your titties hanging. He sees your spirit, which is why he said don't go through all that, because he ain't interested in all that. That's for the flesh. That's of the flesh. But you believe that that's holiness and righteousness. You believe that it's more godly to put on the Spanx and the nylons and the heels and the earrings and the church hat and the girdle. And you be darn ashamed of that little plain lady that just showed up in a sundress. And then you'll go one step further and mock her. It's shameful. Who is your God? Who are you serving? Who? They done told y'all that God is like some like pacifist. The pacifist, like, what happened to the strong right arm? He ain't in there. I tell you what, there's as many verses where the Most High says not to pray for your enemy as he says to pray for your enemy, time and circumstances. Okay? This is a season for everything under heaven. But let somebody tell you, let me say, you know what? I ain't praying for them no more. You know what? I'm praying that they fall, that they get boils on their skin and die. Now she's the devil. But you over there praying and interceding and fasting and praying for people that have chosen wickedness, fought for wickedness. You'll spend all your time praying for them. Because why? Why? Who told you to do that? Who is your God? Look at Yeshua. Look how he rocked out. He wasn't doing that. He wasn't mamby-pamby and kissing the ass of the scribes and Pharisees and them. Y'all got it so twisted because y'all so holy you would never go to a bar. And you'll sit up with these crooked pastors, these pimps, these robbers. Well, baby, the Messiah was hanging out in the bar. He was with the strippers and the regular folks in the bar, and he was having drinks and toasting the stuff and cheers and all of that. But y'all so holy you wouldn't be caught dead at a party where they serving wine. And some of y'all done went so far as to make up the silly doctrine that the Bible, when it speaks of wine, it didn't really mean wine, it meant grape juice. Because what the Messiah did was turn water to grape juice at the wedding. Because that's what we serve at the wedding is grape juice. It's not wine at the wedding reception. And they were like, it's the best wine they ever had. Best wine we ever had. Straight from the hand of the Messiah. But you will stand around and you won't go to so-and-so's birthday party because they got wine there. And you saved and you can't be all up under all that. So then you take your saved, sanctified self and you sit up under the pastor and this and that and your whole brood of vipers and entertain every lie and vile, wicked device of the enemy with your ratchet holidays. Where is Easter in here? Where? Where is Christmas in here? Halloween? Thanksgiving? Now, I almost give you Thanksgiving, which is funny, because I know there's all this craziness about Thanksgiving is the white man's holiday. The devil is a lie. The Most High ordained feasts at the harvest. He ordained that we should feast at harvest. Literally, the Passover is a harvest situation. How you calculate when it comes in is according to the barley harvest. It's literally a harvest celebration. So I can even get close to Thanksgiving. But who is your God? Y'all better wake up. Y'all better, you know what I think you should do? Put the Bible down. Put it down. Give yourself 365 days and go before the Most High and say, Lord, I'm seeking your truth. And I'm going to look everywhere until I find it. Because the Most High is not constrained to this here propaganda machine here. The Most High is not constrained to it. And maybe you're saying, well, if she's saying it's a propaganda machine, how can she use it, blah, blah, blah. Well, listen. Everything's a tool in my hands. Everything is a tool for my use. Everything is a tool. But I'm not crazy. This is not my God. This is not my God. This can't make or break me. The Most High communicates to me through this, but the Most High communicates to me through that little 6-year-old I got in there too. And the Most High communicates to me through the clouds. And the Most High communicates to me through the birds. And the Most High communicates to me through the ratchet media, which I don't really indulge much anymore. But when you seek a message from the Most High, or he seeks to get a message to you, he'll even use an ass to communicate. A literal ass, if that's what's available. Y'all don't know what, y'all just lost. You don't know who Israel is. You don't know where Israel is. You still think the Middle East has anything to do with anything. It has something to do with something, but it didn't. The people of the Most High didn't wander around an 11 days journey for 40 years. Do you even know how to read your Bible when you see things in parentheses and stuff? Do you know that the translator added that, threw that in there? But you stick to that like. And so you don't understand that the journey of the Israelites was all through Africa. They started in South Africa and what made their way all the way up and all throughout Africa. But let somebody tell you that and you're mad. It don't make no sense. Who's your God? You need to fast and pray. And you need to stop going to these churches. Because I'm going to tell you something about these churches. Friends, the same wicked demon propaganda machine that produced this is the synagogue of Satan, through which all of your churches have been born. They are the seed of Satan. Now, we know that the Most High will find you wherever you call out to him. And I am not speaking against churches and church life overall. But when churches and church life replace your relationship with the Most High, so much so that because your church is having a Christmas pageant, you will go and decorate the tree knowing darn sight well you read in this book specifically not to do that. See, that ought to cause you to say, perhaps I need to leave this church. It should not cause you to say to yourself, well, the Most High didn't really mean it. I mean, what? What do we say? He didn't really mean it? What? Who is your God? Who is this God that you serve that would commit us to eternal suffering with abusers? Who? When the Messiah said to love your neighbor as yourself, you do realize who the neighbor is, right? You do realize that your neighbor is the people in community with you, right? And you do realize that we're not called to live up amongst everybody, right? You do realize that. You do realize that the Most High's children are a nation, right? We're called to go out into the world and to minister, but not to live there, not to live up under them, not to be with them, not to be marrying them. Y'all don't know? The Most High forbids the swirl. Who are the Edomites? Y'all don't know who the Edomites are, so you don't know that you ain't supposed to be laid up with them. You think multiculturalism and swirl and interracial marriage is some beautiful picture of reconciliation before the Most High. It's a sin. He forbids it. He says the only time you should have them up in your camp is if they are serving you. And he got a whole separate list of rules for them versus you, for how to treat them versus how to treat your brothers and sisters under him. A whole separate set of rules. They can eat pork. We cannot. We can sell them pork. I can pick up a carcass. I can see the squirrel drop dead out the tree. Pick up the squirrel Bring it and give it to the Edomite to eat. The little Edomite in my camp, little girl, maybe she cleans for me or something. I can take that and give it to her. The Most High says we can do that. Give it to them. They eat that. But don't you eat it. Somebody go get Asuna. She's trying to break out. Quietly, please. Now, y'all confused. You are confused. You don't understand. When they were rebuilding the temple, Tobias and them, the haters in them, when after they pulled their haterism and it didn't work, then they tried to come back and like be part of it, right? When they couldn't get the king and stuff to go along with their haterism, when they couldn't get the king to go along with their haterism, then they went, well, let us help you. The Most High was like, yeah, no. Right? Who was it? Ezra, Nehemiah, which one of them was rebuilding and was like, yeah, no, you don't get to partake in the building of this. Who do you think these people were? Nah, sorry, you can't play. When they came back and found all these mixed marriages, they put them out. This was counted unto righteousness. This was counted as righteousness unto the prophet that went and rebuilt. Put them out of the camp, out of the midst of them. Listen, you can take your little white girlfriend and go with her. Or you can send her whichever way, but she can't stay here. It is written. But I mean, when I say I don't support the swirl, I'm ungodly and I work for the devil now. Who is your God? Who in hell are you serving? Y'all don't make no sense. This is foolishness. It's absolute foolishness. You need to grow up. Some of y'all been in the word longer than I've been living. But you need to grow up. You need to really grow up. You in there voting in these elections and stuff. You got y'all heavily staked in that thing. The Most High looking like, didn't I tell you come out from there? Didn't I told you come out? Don't touch that. It ain't yours. What do you think touch no unclean thing means? If not, don't vote for liars, cheats, thieves, devils. I mean, I don't think that there's anybody that has some illusion that the American political system, like that one way or another, whether you vote, like that you're not voting for liars, cheats, thieves, perverts, murderers. We all know that that's what they all are doing. But that's not an unclean thing that you ain't supposed to touch, right? Somehow you're obligated to touch it because somebody told you your ancestors died for your right to do it. Well, somebody fought for my right to have an abortion, but I don't owe them a fucking abortion, okay? Your ancestors were deceived. You gonna follow after that deception because that's how they got down? Who is your God? Who are you serving? Who are you working for? It don't make no sense. I'm tired of the mess. I can't tell you how many ridiculous attacks I have had to endure for standing up for truth. for standing up for nothing but truth and righteousness, for saying that this cruelty, I stand against cruelty, I stand against manipulation, I stand against defilement. I cannot tell you how many Christians and God-fearing people have come at me with very strong convictions to talk me down off the wall. And y'all love to say stuff like, God knows my heart. You damn straight he does. Yes, this is true. So why is your heart not running after the Most High? You think the Most High don't know? The spirit of compromise? You think the Most High don't know that you care more about how your pastor feels about you than how the Most High feels about you? You think the Most High don't know that about your heart, huh? You think the Most High don't know that the only reason you're doing all that church work is because you think you're better than somebody that ain't? And you like the position of power that it gives you? You think the Most High don't know that about your heart? Which you're giving and you're posting, you're giving off. You know what? One of my big pet peeves is these Facebook charity people, right? Oh, I was walking to work today and I saw a homeless person and they were so hungry. And so I gave them $5 and I pat them on the head and I told them, God bless you. And I prayed with them and they told me they were just sitting there trying to praying and wondering how they was going to get a sandwich. And I was that sandwich. And you got a picture of you and them on Facebook and you holding the $5, right? It's the $5 I gave. Right? And you hope that thing gets so many likes and shares. And then you'll even go so far as to say, be like me, people. This is what we need in the world. We need more people like me in the world. And we call that holiness and righteousness. And then we'll excuse it by saying, well, it's because there's so much bad news. We need to report on the good. Well, if your good works be spoken of, let the receiver do the telling of the story. I believe that's written. Not in those words, but I believe that's written. Let someone else brag on your good works. Let the person that you gave the $5 to Facebook post it if they want. And if they don't, shut up and take your ass to work. Who is your God? Hashtag blessed to be a blessing. Who is your God? Who? You turn your noses up at polygamy. My God, I ain't never seen nothing so much as how much these so-called people who follow the God of this book right here turn their nose up at polygamy. And it is the standard family model of this book, of the people of this book. Them black ass Africans was just as polygamous as they could be, even to the point where there are laws in here that require men to take on new wives. How are you going to take something that the Most High gives you as a requirement and become disgusted with it? And then you say stuff, well, it ain't for me, and I can't see myself sharing no man. Yeah, because you're wicked. Because you don't understand the Most High. Because he's not your God. Y'all better wake up. You better wake up. Y'all playing. Y'all got these silly notions about what women can and can't do and stupid mess. Like, where that at? Oh, that's right. Paul said something like that, right? Don't get me started on Paul. Now, I'm not Paul's judge. I'm not here to say whether Paul was what. But I will say this. There are enough scriptures up in here where Paul said, you know what Paul even said? Paul even said, so what, I lie? If my lie makes people love the Lord, then why aren't you happy that I lied? If my lie brings, not loves the Lord, but if my lie brings people to the church, rejoice in my lie. What? Really, Paul? Integrity? Oh, fuck integrity. I just become whoever people, want me to be, and that way they'll like me. And that way they'll join my church. This is Paul's words. This is the type of shit Paul's talking. I become all things to all people that I might win some. What? That's literally Paul saying, yeah, I don't really have integrity. I just, I'm really good at pinpointing what a person wants and desires and just becoming that in a circumstance so that they'll like me and follow me and call me father and teacher. But didn't the Messiah say, don't call nobody father? Who is your God? You're lost. You better learn how to fight. The line of I know you not, depart from me, is going to be a really, really long line. And you people is trying your damnedest to be in it with this mess. And what you're not finna do is make me feel like a bad guy because I'm not doing that bullshit with y'all and nobody else no more. Now, I done sat up in that family, so-called family, and been abused and abused and abused by these people for literal decades. And the Most High called me out of that mess. And I walked up out of it. And I got people that's downright pissed off that I had nerve to walk up out of it and call it what it is. And they think I'm some kind of evildoer because I'm going to tell the truth and say, well, yeah, I walked up out of it because the shit's dysfunctional and abusive and wicked and vile. Oh, well, maybe you don't understand. What the fuck's to understand about 20, 30 years of abuse? What's to understand about that? Where is that in here that I'm supposed to do that? I shouldn't even have had lunch with these motherfuckers. And wait, let me guess. I can't be a woman of God because I said motherfucker. Where that at in here? Oh, you don't know what a curse is. You know what a curse is. You think a curse is that. Who is your God? Y'all a carnal bunch, man. And you don't know who you think you serve. You're lost. You going to hell with gasoline draws on, and you're pissed off that you can't take me with you in the name of being politically correct and none of the rest. Listen, who is your God? You better know. You better know. You're playing a lot of games. A lot of games. Everybody else, your Ephod people, they know what Oshun wants. They know Oshun like this kind of food, and Oshun like these kind of colors, and Oshun like this kind of music. And they know Yemaya, she like this color over here. And if you put this out, Yemaya will come and be happy and stuff. Everybody knows. Everybody else knows how to appease these gods that they serve. Which I wish y'all knew that they're not, we're not to serve them. Yeah, my Yah and Oshun and Ogun and all them, they here to serve us. They're my homies. Bless the home team. Y'all done lifted them up into God status. You're just as dumb as you can be. They're here to serve you. You weren't bowing down to them. They're here to bow down to you. But even in it, at least they know what they require. At least they know if you want Yemayah to be your God, what she requires. Y'all running around claiming the Most High and don't know nothing about what the Most High requires. You don't know that the Most High requires that your husband marry that single mom over there so that her and her children have a covering. You don't know that the Most High requires that of him. You'll make him out to be the worst devil in the world because his heart goes out to her and gives her a ride to work. He ain't thinking about marrying her. He just want to give her a ride to work in the mornings because he going that way. Somebody told you that you have some right to begrudge that sister a ride to work. Let her take the bus. You my husband. You ain't her husband. And the Most High done said, no, baby, you ain't got to take her just to work. You need to marry that sister. That's the requirement of the Most High for your husband. Who is your God? I can't do it with you people. Y'all better wake up. Y'all better grow up. I know whose I am. I know who I serve. Y'all got me, but more importantly, y'all got Yahweh. Yahuwah, the Most High, twisted. So very twisted. Now is a really good time to get right. Bless up. Bless up, family. Now is a good time to get right. Oh, Lord, now I can't even stop.